If I can find clients running PPC using Lead Kahuna PPC options, would it be a good idea to sell PPC first and focus just on PPC?
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. Susan, can you mute? All right, cool. Okay. So Lead Kahuna is how this guy, and I say guy because I don't know who asked the question, so sorry about that. We'll make sure we get that in the future, by the way, Uzi. So basically, can I prospect using Lead Kahuna and then, to people doing PPC, then pitch them PPC management? So yes, of course you could. Just a couple thoughts though for you, I guess, sidebar. Like first and foremost, I would definitely niche down, right? So niche down into one vertical, 2 verticals if you have to, until you can pick one that you really like the best. So if you're stuck on 2, fine. Go after 2 to start, but don't go after 10. Don't just take on any Tom, Dick, or Harry. The cool thing and the magic happens when you do pick a vertical and you start to be able to build up your portfolio. You start to be able to build up your case studies. You start to be able to build up your testimonials. And I know so many of you guys, like that's a concern for you. Like, yeah, but I don't have any case studies on this. Guys, if you just went after one vertical, you'd have a shitload of case studies and testimonials, right? But by being so scattered, and I know you guys are scattered, right? Because I've been there and I talk to so many of you guys on a daily and weekly basis. By picking all these different verticals, it makes it really, really hard to truly show how valuable you guys are and to have just like literally a stack of case studies and results and testimonials. So pick a freaking niche, stick with it, right? And again, if you have to, pick 2 niches, right? But pick a niche first and foremost. Okay, second, then, in terms of prospecting and who do you target then in that niche, I would definitely use a tool like Lead Kahuna to go find the prospects. Okay, but I would use that tool first because that's like a bulk tool. That's a leverage tool. And I love that tool. We use it all the time in our business, obviously. We talk about that tool. We endorse that tool. If you're prospecting and you need leads to prospect to, you should be using Lead Kahuna. If you don't have the link, let us know. We'll get you an affiliate link. We'll make a little commission for recommending it and for giving you guys tons of value. But then after you're done with that, like Lead Kahuna isn't going to find every prospect's information and email address. So after you're done and you already have a message and an offer that work, right? Then go fill in the gaps that Lead Kahuna couldn't find, right? Go pay a VA 50 cents a contact record to go update the data that Lead Kahuna couldn't get, to go update the emails that Lead Kahuna didn't get, right? Like we do that all the time, but I wait until I've used the bulk tool, right? And I've gotten all the leverage I can out of it because it's a lot cheaper than having somebody go get data for you one record by one record. Okay, so you got a niche, you got a lead gen method, right? Then third, whenever I do prospecting, I like to reach out and I like to have a goodwill campaign. Okay, by all means, guys, I've made a killing. I've helped people make a killing in their emails, essentially going more of the expert route angle. And what I mean by that is the cold emails are very kind of generic. And it's like, I know that this industry has a problem with marketing and that it's not always the best and it can be very inconsistent. I've figured it out. Here's a case study. Would you like to jump on a phone call? That will crush and get you guys phone calls lined up, back to back to back to back. And I've built several businesses myself and sold them using that method. And I've helped a lot of people in the community do that too. Okay, using that same angle. But here's the thing, like those prospects, they're so cold, they don't know you from Adam. Right? They have no idea who the hell you are. So they book an appointment, but are they going to show? Not all the time, right? Do they have any preconceived notions or thoughts about you and your company? No, they're like, so what I'm doing now is I'm specifically in my cold email campaigns and in my marketing, when I'm doing outreach, I'm specifically going after a problem. Okay. And for me, it's a prospect's problem, but it's an opportunity for me. And it's an opportunity for them too. So I want to find something that's wrong, that's related, or that feeds into, that leads into whatever my service is that I'm trying to sell. So if I'm trying to pick up PPC clients, let's say that we're trying to pick up people for the retargeting and the remarketing method, like I shared with you before, right? What can I do? I can use Lead Kahuna. I can go after my niche. I can get them all in bulk, right? We'll worry about the people that are, that Lead Kahuna doesn't find in the emails. They don't find till later, till we're already freaking crushing it and making a killing. And we're going to look at the data that Lead Kahuna finds. And one of them is they tell you if the prospect is using retargeting or remarketing. There's two sections. There's the Facebook section, and then there's like another bulk section, which is like Google Display Network and Perfect Audience and AdRoll and a bunch of networks. I just did an analysis on one vertical, and less than 10% of the prospects are using either of those networks to run retargeting or remarketing. Okay, so 90% of the market has this missing. Okay, so why not make an offer to them to help set up a basic retargeting remarketing campaign? Right? Why not make an offer to set it up for them? Right? And then you charge them to actually run it. Or why don't you offer them some banners, right, that are templated out for free, right? But offer something of value that has great value for free, right? It's a problem, it's an opportunity, and then use that to get your foot in the door, right? And make the offer too good to be true. Like, truly, make it freaking amazing. And tell them your ulterior motive, all right? So in the emails, I make a ridiculous offer, but then I also tell them why I'm doing it, right? And just be real, right? I'm trying to grab 5 case studies from this niche, right? I'm trying to bring on 5 new consulting clients in this niche, right? This is a niche we just started playing with, and I want to do some betas, right? I'm doing this, and I'm willing to do this for you for free, but I need 3 referrals. So the reason that you're doing it is referrals. So again, if I was to do this, I would lead with value to set myself up. So by the time I go to pitch them, they already know, like, and trust me, versus me coming in completely cold. Okay, does going in completely cold work? Yes. Does this work better? I believe so. Okay, especially if you want to go after one vertical, right? Like, you need to build your relationship with that vertical, right? You're going to stay in front of them, right? Over time, if you don't get them today, right, you're going to get them in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months to be a customer, to get on your email list, to be a part of your company to some degree. So another Joe Troyer rant right there. I think, though, that I answered that pretty well. We got any questions, Usman?
Not too many questions. We have one call out. They said, so you had to leave the country to bring the Thunder, Joe? I thought that was very funny. Thank you, Willie.
So again, if I'm prospecting, the thing I want you to take away is find a problem and offer to provide a solution, right? And figure out what data points do you look at and find the problem. And I would specifically, if you're using Lead Kahuna, just go look at all the data that Lead Kahuna returns, right? And then just make sure that leads well into whatever it is that you're trying to sell. So don't give away a website audit. Like, nobody freaking cares, man. Find a problem, offer to fix it, right? Instead of doing a generic website audit and saying, like, some people, I'm still getting cold emails from people like doing the fake audit. And they're like, hey, I just did this video audit of your website, and they include a thumbnail with a play button on it. And they're like, if you want it, email me back. Like, so then they're only recording those video audits to people that respond. Like, come on, bro. Like, find a problem, right? Make an offer, right? So what happens when you go to their website and it's like built in front page and they have no budget and they're a shitty prospect? Now you're stuck on the hook recording a 30-minute video, right? Versus what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can just hand it off to your team and they can go run with it. So find a problem, right? Offer a solution and look like a freaking rock star. And then you're getting your prospect thinking about remarketing and retargeting, and they're like, man, this is just going to go crazy for my business, right? And that leads right into you running this campaign for them each and every month, right? Like, that's how you do it. And that's how you do it with value, and that's how you don't look like a sleazy salesperson. Real quick, if you would say no to that offer, give me a 2 in the chat. Right, if I sent you a cold email and I said, Willie, and Willie, I'm gonna call you out since you were in the chat lately or recently. So if I sent you a cold email, Willie, and you were in the roofing business, and I said, hey, Willie, I was looking at your website, and I noticed you're not running remarketing and retargeting. It's uber critical you do. I find for roofers, we can provide anywhere from 10 to 20% more leads just by doing retargeting and remarketing. And it's pretty simple and straightforward to get it set up. Would you like me to do it for you? Joe Troyer. P.S. Here's a case study of me driving 25% more leads using retargeting or remarketing. All right, and I'd link to the case study. How many of you guys would say no to that? Give me a 2. How many of you guys would say yes to that? Give me a 1.
Willie says sold right away.